Well, this is kind of different. I have Cheryl Horn here with me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We jumped off our BOD live session, which was on tracking forms. We've been doing BOD lives every month for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked. I feel like that's something new we just started. It's like a book club, but for business of design
But it's
learning.
it's different members every time. So
It,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
Today was cool. We had someone from El Salvador, we had Texas, California, Maryland. I forget all the places, but
Ottawa,
it's
another
Ottawa.
Canadian
Yeah.
on there. Yeah.
It was awesome when we were talking about tracking forms. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about this episode 393, One Big Cart. That's what I named it. And I want to see, is there any possibility you can guess what that is about? I'll tell you who the guest is, though. Daniel House
Myself.
Club. Peter and Alex from
Yeah,
Daniel
it's
House
like
Club.
a one-stop shop for all your vendors.
Okay, see, I think
Yeah.
that we've coined this for them. I said somewhere toward the end of the episode, this is like it's like Instacart, where you can shop at Costco and Albertsons and Ralph's and Loblaws all at the same time in Bevmo, and all of those things get delivered to your house, and it's like this is epic. And so one big cart, yeah. They started the episode by saying that, and you guys will hear the episode next. It's a really good episode where they're going to talk about, the power you can harness by leaning into good suppliers and good vendors and trusting them and letting them do some of the heavy lifting. But they started the episode by saying that they did a survey and 50% of their members did not previously do any procurement, which is really shocking. Like, we've never done that kind of survey to see how few designers or how many are doing procurement,
Yeah. Are charging exclusively for design fees, that is their
right?
own revenue stream.
Which you just
It
cannot be
happens.
profitable doing that. You can't. You can earn a living, you can make some money, but you cannot be
Yeah.
wildly profitable, which
Yeah.
is what we want for you. So anyway, it's a great conversation where hopefully we convince you not only to do procurement, but maybe to do it your own, bring it in-house and reap the benefits of all the money you're going to make and why that's so important.
Yeah.
And then we got into the conversation around business of design is turning 20
No.
years old in
I know it's
October.
coming up. I
I
feel like we've been talking
know.
about this for so long, but it's like
Cheryl, we've been talking
a
about
couple
this
months
20
away.
years.
Yeah. No, I
20
mean like
years.
the celebration of 20 years. I feel like we've started planning and stuff. This has been like 6 months in the works, and now it's like
I
we
know.
have like flights booked and hotel and like it's happening.
How about a DJ? Do we have a DJ?
Working on it.
I want a
Yes.
DJ. I think
We
it's gonna be
will.
so
We
cool.
will. Drinks to
Daniel
order.
Daniel House Club said they're giving away tube socks, but I kept referring to them as tube tops. So, which is a whole different thing. So,
Totally
business
different. Yeah.
right, business of design is giving away merch too, but not tube tops. No,
No.
ma'am.
No.
No, some really cool stuff, including my favorite, like, oh, anyway, doesn't matter. Come, it's going to be a party. Everybody's going to leave with something as a loot bag. It's going to be so, 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 so much fun. And Cheryl, I'm just telling you now, before you
Uh-oh.
hear the episode, that I completely botched
What
the
did you do?
dates, the time, all of it. And they're just looking at me, scratching their head, going like, why does Cheryl even keep you around? I don't know. So tell everybody what we're going to do at High Point, what they can learn, when it happens, and how much we want them there. Because I really want you guys to be there. Don't make me have a birthday party by myself. That's just 8-year-old me just can't handle that.
Yeah. Well, for starters, head to businessofdesign.com because all the details are there because we're sort of beyond the save the date and like you need to registration for High Points open. This is something like you actually need to book and plan and get going. So the
But
big
our
day,
events are free and you do not need to
yes.
register or
No, you need
RSVP
to
just
register for High
for
Point
High Point.
Market
Yes.
to get into the market. And then
Yes.
you have like a whole lot of places that you can come hang out with Business of Design.
Woohoo.
And it is Saturday, October 26th.
Thank
Ignore whatever Kimberly tells you. Saturday,
you.
October 26th. And it's a full day. So we do start out hanging out with Daniel House Club. They've arranged for us to do seminars in 3 different showrooms. So the first, we'll be going to Four Hands at 10 a.m., talking about growing profitability with vendors. At
Ooh,
11
okay.
o'clock, we're headed to Sunpan. And the showroom locations on the website. That's where you want to go for your details.
Okay.
So again, 11 o'clock, we're going to be heading to Sunpan, which is ignore the budget and specify better products. I'm looking to the side because that's where my notes are.
Ooh.
And then at noon, you can join us at Etu Home for Design Fees Are Not Enough, which is also what this episode is going to cover from the sounds of it.
Design fees are not enough. That is the truth. Like you just cannot be, you can't get to the level you want to get to. And Peter and Alex say it much better. You can't get to the next level in profitability or quality or reputation or anything if all you're doing is selling design fees. So, okay, so that's 10, 11, and 12. And
Yes.
then what time's our party? Because I really messed that up.
And then you're going to head over to the suites at Market Square, and we're going to be on the Anmore stage. By we mean Kimberly on stage, me hiding in the background.
No, you're going to be on stage. We've got all Team
I
BOD
know.
is going to be loud and proud this day.
I
Yeah,
know we're gonna have
yeah.
a whole bunch of people on the stage with us,
Yes.
including Peter and Alex will be joining us there in person. A couple of our members, Sierra is going to be there, a whole crowd on stage, Janine and myself representing Team BOD. But that's going to be
Yeah.
at 3 o'clock. We're going to start our keynote. So we'll do sort of an hour-long presentation, having all of our fun experts and partners and members on stage with us. And then you can stick around after that for a celebration, hang out with us, and we're going to be launching a new book, which
I forgot about that. Do you,
it's
oh my gosh, am I going to be, do you have a copy?
I do. So if you're like
No.
listening on the podcast, it's got this like not for sale because it's my proof. I have
Oh my
proofs of all
gosh.
of the books that we've done. But it's coming in September. You're going to be able to pre-order, but the first people to receive it
Oh
will
my
be those who
gosh.
join us at High Point Live. So
Oh my gosh.
get there, be there.
Wow.
Lots to celebrate.
And I will be talking about this book on a podcast coming up for sure. Like it is not a rehash of old stuff. It is not kind of a fluff of past material. This is like the 2.0 Business of Design 2.0. For those of you who are serious about running a business, this is the
Yeah.
book for you. So anyway, super excited about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then
So
if you
yes.
hang out for the next day, if like all day Saturday with Business of Design is not enough, Kimberly's also going to be hosting a panel in partnership also with Daniel House and Zena. And Heather from Token Interiors, which is a longtime Business of Design member, will also be joining us on that panel. So that'll be on this Sunday morning, 9 to 11. You can get there early, have a breakfast, hang out, and then listen in to the panel. So we'll be there all weekend. Make sure you're there. We do have an RSVP on the website. It's just for us. I liked, especially with our Business of Design, our BOD lives, rather, there's members that we've like seen on there, I've emailed with and talked to for like years, that it feels really weird that I don't actually know them.
Yeah,
Just
but
know
they'll
them
be
by
coming up to
face.
you and saying, "You're
Yeah.
Cheryl." Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of members that I'm
Ah.
like really excited to meet in person. It'll be nice.
Yes. So you do not have to RSVP to attend. You
No.
can bring a friend who has not RSVP'd. The RSVP is there strictly so we make sure we have enough alcohol. That's kind of it. So we're
Yes.
going to just have to
Sure.
guess, I have a feeling. Yeah, that's okay. We can drink whatever's left over. We have the
Yes.
whole night.
Yeah.
I
We will
am
be.
really looking forward to that. And you, lucky listeners, are in for a great conversation with Daniel House Club right now. Thank you, Cheryl. Any other announcements, or we can get into the show?
Let's just get into the show.
Let's do
And then join us
it.
at High Point.
Thanks, Cheryl. See you soon.
Bye.
Well, that's fun. Oh, here we go.
I'm just kidding. In here.
Hi.
Hello, we can hear you now.
Okay, that was like juvenile.
We enjoyed it because it's 7:45 for us and we're like not normally running at this hour. So
Oh my God, hilarious. All right, if you are looking at YouTube, I can tell you that Peter's the guy in the LA hat. Nice hat, by the way. And
thank you.
Alex is the guy in the other hat. I don't think you have a logo on your hat, do you?
There's
What is
a
that? Little ducky?
there's a goose or
That's a
something. I don't know.
goose.
I don't know what it
After
is.
after a little technical difficulties and my childish behavior, we're ready to start the actual podcast. Nice to see you guys. Daniel Clubhouse in the house is what I was going to say.
Daniel House Club is in the house, and Peter has decided to turn the
What's
lights
happening?
off.
Oh yeah, that changed everything. That's just way better.
I thought you would feel that way. Yeah.
But
Well, I
hello.
felt like an angel with a halo behind my head.
Well,
So
okay, but you have the LA hat, so you could be the angels.
that's true. You're
The
right.
LA
Oh my
Angels.
gosh.
I don't
Los
know what you're
Angeles.
thinking.
See? Los
See,
Angeles.
We're
it's
on
worth
here
it.
just for the jokes.
No, we're going to talk about, see, actually, we're going to talk about something real serious, which is making money, which is what, am I wrong in thinking that there are designers out there who are just afraid to make money? Because we talk about, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I meet people and they listen to the podcast faithfully. They've probably never taken membership or they've come to a seminar and they hear all the things that work from all the people who have tried them and they still are afraid. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about, this area of being able to manage procurement for your clients and how that is so scary to some designers. They go, no, I don't want to do it. I'm just going to let my clients buy everything on their own. Right? And that is just
Yeah.
a tragic mistake. And I'm drinking my first coffee of the day. So,
A good
you know,
idea.
you guys talk and I'm just gonna listen. But do
Well,
you guys,
yeah,
are you guys feeling that too? You see that too? And it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
it totally is. I feel like I meet a lot of designers, not our members, uh, that feel sort of like they don't deserve to make money. I don't know what that's
Ooh.
about, but I
Oh
would
my
say,
gosh. Okay, wait a minute. I got to put my psychology hat on here. Really, I think sometimes telling a story for a friend, you are raised and told that you don't deserve to make money. Like I kind of joke with my brother that our family motto was, "Who do you think you are?" And right, like my parents came from Arkansas, very blue collar. They did not even understand what interior design was, and making a living, getting by was their goal. So
Yeah.
anything beyond that it was just new territory for them, right? So and then who knows what other kind of stuff is going on in the background for people, but I don't think that's wrong actually, that there's a feeling that maybe they don't deserve to make money, or
yeah,
and
I
in
think,
addition, maybe that they don't actually need the money because maybe they have a spouse or a partner who's making money. And so their money's just like what, extra?
yeah, I think it's almost like because we're providing a luxury service, it does feel like, I don't know, gauche to talk about it or need to charge. And you
Yeah.
feel like the way to provide your client value is to just offer yourself for free. But I
Mhm.
think that's like really not a good idea.
Right.
Uh,
Or you give your design, or you get paid for your design fees, but then you give away the
exactly.
funds that you might make through procurement as a way of like compensating the client for paying you. Like,
Yeah,
right?
you're
It's
basically paying them to do your job at that point, which
you are.
is silly. I think also, it's if you're starting off and you work on your own, inevitably, even if you're really good, you're going to make a lot of little mistakes and then feel bad and want to make up for that, which is a nice thing to do. But that doesn't really happen if you're part of a bigger team because, well, you got some other people to blame. But you
Yeah.
also realize you need to make money to support those people, and it's a journey to understand that that's true even if you work on your own. You need to make money to support yourself, your family, and to pay your bills, and to grow your business. And
Mhm.
that's not a bad thing, that's actually a good thing, and eventually that will mean you actually provide a better service to your customer because you're more proud of who you are, you're more comfortable in your own design shoes, and you will be able to procure all sorts of things that you couldn't if you were just volunteering as a designer, which is what a lot of people do. But we're very excited that with us, I hope I'm not jumping ahead at all, but we did do a survey with our designers and found oh good found that about 50% of our members were previously not procuring furniture at all, and
50%, that's pretty high.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were
Wow.
surprised, and they started because they found us. And so what they said is it used to be too hard. There were too many resources. There were too many things to manage.
Sure.
And it wasn't, and I kind of get that it's still leaving a lot of money on the table. But
Oof.
they were focusing on their design fee aspect.
Mhm.
And I think focus can make a lot of sense. And that's kind of what we set out to make it possible to do in an industry where if you're working on your own, you're pulled in 1,000 directions every single day.
Yeah.
You can free up some of your time and your, more importantly, mental space to focus on design while still making money selling furniture.
Right, because that's an excuse people use. I don't have the time to do procurement, so I'm just going to give the links to my clients.
Mhm.
And like right away, like that is just such an ugly experience because now the client's working on her own project or his own project or whatever. And I don't want my clients doing the work. And not only that, at the end of the day, what does the big reveal look like? You know, because right, you can't leave a client alone in a store and say, go get a sofa. They come out with
They can't be trusted.
a purple chair that's like gonna break your heart. My God, no. So yeah, interesting. And it's just so overwhelming for whatever reason. Like when you're first starting out, I remember it was so scary to go to a showroom because they gave you a
Mm.
look over like, who are you? What are you doing here? Back in the day, the trade showrooms protected trades, right?
Mm.
So if
Yeah.
somebody came in who was a housewife, they weren't going to be able to do it. But nowadays, that's gone. Forget it. Anybody can get trade pricing. So who cares? And I think the showrooms are a little bit more accommodating, welcoming, but it's really scary, as you say. There's just so many resources. Where do I go? What do I do? And of course, when you get to Daniel House Club, it's all under one roof, like one cart. That's kind of
Yeah.
one big
Yeah.
cart.
Oh, then we
Um,
should change our name.
One
Also,
big cart. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
oh, I
welcome.
like that. Um, if I
Instacart
could,
won't have a problem with that, by the
No,
way.
no, definitely
By the
not.
way, it is the Instacart of interior design, right? Like
Yeah.
with during COVID, I got to be an Instacart, phenom, and we're ordering from like Bevmo and Walmart and whatever, like Costco, and all the places are coming straight to my door. I'm like, this is amazing, one cart. So that's kind of what you're doing for home design, right? For
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
I've heard it
it
put in
is
many ways. Not that one, but I like that. That's very
okay,
that
clear.
is how we're going to pitch to all our future vendors. We're Instacart for interior design.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I if I could go backward for 1 second, because bringing up the thing about just sending clients links,
Oh,
Alex and I started our business as an interior design firm, and Alex was very much the business mind, and I was the um, creative artist, and we viewed success in really different ways.
oh, I
I would say,
bet.
oh, this person is such a famous architect, they're so successful. And Alex would be like, well, I would need to see their books to see if they were successful. And that isn't
Right.
how a designer sets out to view success. They view it as this beautiful room that's perfectly photographed, that leads to a design legacy, I think. But if you are just sending links to your client, you are not ever going to achieve that.
Never.
And you're not going to be able to have work that will take you to the next level.
Never.
So,
Can you guys
But
hear this drilling behind me?
I can't hear
no,
any drilling.
seems
Okay,
really
it's cool.
peaceful where you
It's
are.
Yeah.
I'm peaceful, but there's just like this construction
Well,
going on next door, which you gotta love construction, right? Like I can't
oh,
complain about that. Get it.
true. That's business.
That is business. Okay, yeah, very, very good point that you guys looked at things through different lenses, and that's kind of the intersection between what we all do together, right? Where we're looking at the business side and systems to run the business and telling them like procurement has to be part of it if you want a next level profitability. But equally important, it has to be part of it if you want a next level aesthetics, style, reputation, right? Like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, what a missed opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, and I think I often get called the creative in this business, but that's just like the aesthetic thing. I think you also need to think about your business as a creative um, pursuit. And if you don't have it as dialed as the work that you're producing, then I don't think you're providing the total experience. And so we've been very happy to be talking more and more with our members and finding that what we set out to do is actually happening for them. Like we hear many of them say, I haven't had to hire anybody because you're handling all of these back of house things that would take me a week's worth of hours to complete that they would really
Yeah.
need a full-time person to do.
Mhm.
We also just had a very sweet interior design, I think out of Canada, pretty sure, interior designer write in and say, I'm an e-designer and I was finally just profitable on my projects because of you. And I was like, oh, that's
Yay.
fantastic. But yeah, get creative with the business. Not, creative accounting is great. You could just write in some numbers and make however much you want. But if you are really serious about your business, you don't have to be that creative. A lot of that's already planned and ready to go. You just need to apply it. But you do have to start to think critically and get excited, draw it out. What do you want to be? Not just as what publication do you want, but how much money do you want? Set some financial goals, and it gets kind of fun. Then you can
Absolutely.
work towards those.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that well, I'm jumping all over the place. There's a million places we can go with the conversation. And I suppose I should focus on the fact that we want people to feel like there are resources you can trust, there are partners you can rely on, but not all of them are created equally. And one of the things we hear often is that, oh, you can outsource procurement. Okay, I'm going to hire this procurement company. What do you pay them? Well, we only pay them this much, but then they take, a percentage. How much of a percentage? Oh, it depends, like, I don't know. Are you kidding me? Like there was this company that went out of business. I think their name was like Home Point. I mean, that was like practically a grifter. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like literally I was on stage at High Point and this guy says, yeah, you don't have to bother your heads about procurement. We'll do all of that for you. What does it cost? You give us all the margin. We take 100% of the profit and you get stuck with whatever happens on the job that's wrong. And it's going to cost you money to fix it. And they're like living on easy street, right? And people are gobbling it up. Like, don't trust everybody. Don't trust everybody. Like, investigate, make sure you're getting in bed with the right people. But once you have those suppliers who have your back and partners you can trust, man, oh man, procurement it can be something that you can do even if you're not used to it. It can be something that becomes simple, right? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that hard
The-
to make a purchase.
Well, first off, I do have to tell a little story. When we were first starting out, we had some people work through a welcome flow email series, and one of the lines in there that we caught, fortunately, but somebody who said, "You go do design and leave the profits to us." And
Right.
what
That
they
sounds
meant
very
was
applicable.
we'll make it easy for you to make profit.
Yeah.
But we're like, yeah, we'll just take all your profit.
Oops,
That's great.
that was a miss. Yeah.
So we fixed that, but great business model otherwise. But you're right, and really is the benefit of Peter and I working together and having that experience of, okay, I want to build a business to be big and successful, and Peter wants to build a design business that is respected and visually amazing, but also comes from hands-on experience on the job site and knows how to judge a partner. And we have used that basically at every decision we make is like, okay, we have to be partner level, the kind where you can pick up the phone and trust there's a solution. Because when you're a designer standing in front of a client, you can't go back and say, oops, sorry, my guy messed up. Maybe you can do that one or two times,
but if you're doing it more, you're diminishing trust really rapidly.
Yeah.
And you go back to the partners that don't do that to you. And that's why we focus so heavily on being really a partner, not just a place where you can go buy a couch. Excuse me, sofa.
Yeah, talk like a designer. And I would say, like, I'm never looking for a partner who is promising perfection, because that is kind of I don't know, I don't want to say a red flag to me, but like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of absurd to think that nothing's going to go wrong. It's
There's
really
so many people involved in making a product. How could something not go wrong all the
exactly.
time, right?
Yeah, really, you're looking for somebody who does not like go into panic mode when something does go wrong. It's somebody who is still going to be there and still going to help you through and not going to make you pay 10 times more to get it fixed when
Yeah.
something does arise. They're going to be there holding your hand, not even holding your hand, just standing by your side and making sure that you both are successful.
Yeah, what I want to hear as a designer when something goes wrong is, okay, let's figure this out. We're going to
Yeah.
help you get through this. Let's put our heads together. Let's come up with a solution, right? What I don't want to hear is like, oh, bummer. I guess you're going to have to buy a new one, you know,
That sucks.
bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So we have this one part of the market of interior design professionals who doesn't want to do procurement at all for whatever reason. All of them insane in the face of the reality that you can't do your best work without this component. You cannot do your best work. It's never going to happen. You're never going to get next level on any of the levels you're trying to achieve. So there's that. Then there's the designer who is doing some procurement, but maybe it doesn't have the systems, doesn't have quite all the elements that are needed to be really successful at it. And for that designer, being able to find partners that you can rely on more, not less, is really, really important, right? Like, don't you think a lot of people in those category aren't using their vendors enough? They're not using their partners enough. You can actually
Definitely.
leverage a lot more power by leaning into those relationships.
Yeah, I would say like we have that full gamut that you just talked about as members here. And the ones who I think are getting the most out of it are the ones who are calling or emailing or chatting our concierge service like all day long,
Yeah.
saying like, what else can you do for me? Because there is so much that we are so many vendors will do and will get creative with you to support you. And
Yeah.
I am like such a weak systems person. Like I just we're going through this new thing in our office where we've partnered with a company that will like fix our images so that they look really uniform on the website, and there's like a
Mm.
10-step process to fix
Oh,
each image, and
yeah.
I'm going to be a part of it. And like a couple days ago I sat through like a training, and by the end of it everyone else was like, oh, this is going to be great, and I'm like close to tears. Like I'm like,
Right.
this is so hard for me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there are people that love doing that. And if you can find them and you can know that you trust them, I mean, just don't go into it like blindly, but test them out, give them more and more, and see where they will take it. And I think that's what our most creative members here are doing with
Mhm.
us, is like um, really leaning into our concierge support to help
Yeah.
them.
That I might put it in, the yin and yang here. We'll say the same thing differently. In total agreement, but different terms, is all of the best executives that you read about or that I talk to really don't do much that they're not naturally good at. They're hard workers, but they're really
Yes.
great delegators. And
Yeah.
when they realize that they're bad at something, that's when they give it to somebody else, because that it
Right
just
on.
drains them and it makes them worse at the thing they're good at.
Yeah.
And it wrecks the team. So it's a really important thing to learn in design early. What are
Yeah.
you bad at? How can you find somebody to do it for you? It'll be cheaper
Yeah.
in the long run and better.
And how much money did I spend trying to train someone who was great at drawing to be good at project management when that made them wilt? Or,
Yeah.
somebody who was great at project management. Now I also need you to do the paperwork. Well, I don't want to do the paperwork. Like, that's a good way to ruin a good relationship and lose a good hire, right? And it's
Yeah.
true. And the other thing about great executives, they do work hard, but typically they have the fewest emails in their inbox, right? They're more big picture and they're more delegating, as you say, and you can't delegate without systems. It's not possible to
Yeah.
delegate without systems. You can't say, go order the furniture to someone who works for you and expect it's going to come out okay. It's just not going to come out okay, right? So what happens?
I don't know. Maybe I challenge somebody to contact the Daniel House Club concierge and say, order the furniture.
Okay, fair
Let's see
enough.
how it goes.
Right.
No.
That's right. But you still want to learn how, I'm sure you guys have protocols and how, well, I know because I'm one of the people who bug the concierge, but do you guys talk about me? Is that what happens? They go, Kimberly has another, Kimberly
We're
wants more.
specifically referring to Kimberly.
I'm
And
gonna
she's
have to
cut
get
off.
it. I need a new Gmail, so you don't know it's me asking to cut. Yeah, fair enough. But every single supplier and vendor you work with, you've got to know how they work, and you want to get into the flow of that. And
Yeah.
you know, I always say I want to be someone easy to work with because when something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong, I want that person, that vendor, to pick up the phone and help me solve the problem.
Yeah, we say that we want to be our vendor's favorite customer.
There
Very
you go.
similar idea is
Yeah.
we want them to go out of their way for us, solve our problems.
Yeah.
But you are also totally right on the systems. Our ordering, we have we use NetSuite, and it has a detailed ordering notes for every vendor that are unique to that vendor. So
Right.
anybody who's on the team can click and say, okay, how do I place this order for Curry? Then move on. How do I place this order for Bernhardt? How do I place it? And they get used to it. But usually the more used to it is the more mistakes start happening because you start to break out of that system. So as heartbreaking as it can sound, and I know it sounds very heartbreaking to a lot of creative designers, there is a lot of freedom in systems. And when you can delegate through systems, Peter can go be more of a nutty designer who's free to be a nut because he knows there's security behind him.
Yeah, and that translates into like creative, like step out of the box creatively and do all the great things designers do and are good at, naturally good at. I will say, oh, go ahead.
I
Peter.
want to quickly acknowledge some of us can't create systems for ourselves, myself included.
Oh,
like
no.
there are people who will help you at the very beginning. Probably, Kimberly.
Yeah, we probably have, I don't know, 1,472 systems that you can just have. That's how what's inside membership. Yeah. And I could not live without them. Could not live without them. But it was a hard conversion for me. I didn't like systems. I liked being on the rock and roll tour bus. Every day is chaotic. Every day is like, yeah, it's going to be great. Right. And systems felt like a corporate bore to me. But what they did is they elevated every single part of my business and my life and gave me freedom and flexibility and gave me space to be way more creative now. Way, way, way more creative. We had a job installation this week. We did a huge client reveal just a few days ago, and we ordered a custom sofa, and beautiful, and it was a dining sofa, and we are very clear in our directions to the person making the custom sofa that it was a dining sofa, meaning the seat had to be higher so you could sit on the sofa while eating at the table. I won't bore you with all the details, but there was some back and forth, and when the final drawings came through, the seat height was the standard 17.5, I think. Yeah. And it was signed off on by someone who works for me. Just, so many emails, sign, here you go. It happens, right? I mean, it happens. She feels sick about it. It's going to be expensive to fix it because, of course, the legs aren't screwed on. It's a single piece frame. So let me tell you, no matter how good you are and no matter how many systems you have, you are going to make a mistake that's going to be expensive. And I feel really, really sorry for those of you who are leaving procurement money on the table because that's going to pay for that mistake 20 times over. Like, I don't like that there was a mistake, but I'm not going to have to get into a fist fight with the person who custom makes our sofas. I'm just going to solve, right? She's going to give a little, and I'm going to give a little, and we're going to sort it out. Yeah. You got to make more money though to solve problems like that. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say, she's going to give a little, you're going to give a little. That is a testament of a good partner and a good way to know if you're working with the right people. If they're willing, it's signed off on, it probably is part their mistake, but it's there's the legal side. If they're willing to say, okay, I want to keep you, we're going to work with you. Yeah. that
Oh, and that's such a good
that's
point. Why would they
amazing.
want to keep you? Because you're a repeat and volume client. So the
Yeah.
more you can lean into a single vendor and give them a lot of business, right? That's
Mhm.
why the concierge still talks to me because I still love Daniel House Club, right? So
Oh, yes, she is.
so it's like if I give you one order every 7 years, I'm not going to be. I know you're going to treat everybody the same, but not every vendor's going to do that. Not every
Mhm.
vendor's going to do
Yeah,
that.
well, and that's I will shamelessly plug us right now. That's why leaning into us is really great because you don't have to do like a ton of volume with one single vendor that only has 100 products.
Good
You
point.
can be partnered with us and we can give you sort of the same consistent level service across all the vendors that you really need for your project.
That's a really good point because I think sometimes if you're just starting out, if you're new, if you don't have a lot of business and you're not doing a lot of volume, it is hard to get to the level that your supplier notices you, knows who you are, and cares about you enough to work together to fix things rather than just, bullying you into buy a new sofa, you
That
know.
is why we exist because we experienced that in our infancy as interior designers, and we just thought like we have got to get better partner situations because we're not able to get
Partner
profitable
situations. Yeah.
in the speed that we need to grow this business. So
So you guys mentioned a survey and 50% of designers previously were not doing any procurement, zero procurement.
zero procurement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That
would
is
just
tragic. And the
provide
other
a list.
50% was probably a mixed bag, not
It-
100% of procurement, but some procurement.
yeah.
Yes, maybe 100%, but
It's kind of span the I can't I think of the next word range from we are exclusively working with trade vendors to I will do procurement, but it's like Crate and Barrel and Pottery Barn.
Right.
And that's a very mixed bag. I would say our strongest customer, well, our most frequent customer is the one who's transitioned from doing procurement through big box stores and wants to do more procurement that's more profitable and more special
Yeah.
because they can make obviously make additional margin with true trade vendors, but they can also provide a more unique product to their customer that isn't just available on any given mall. Uh,
Yeah.
but
I'm
yeah,
so you lost me at the big box store. Like really? Like that's
yeah.
the word.
Oh,
Like boy, oh
so
boy.
many.
I mean, listen, no shade if your clients are of an entry level budget and that's, the land that you're in, but you got to get out of there. Like it's really hard to make a living in that snack bracket.
it's also really hard to make something of distinction.
I
Yeah.
think it's something a lot of those designers don't realize is, that they haven't worked with bigger budgets, so they haven't really explored the trade vendors, but there are so many of them that fit the same budget as Crate and Barrel,
Yeah.
and they're cooler or better, or at least just different. But they exist out there, and so you can still make 50% margin on that budget.
Right. And that's real money. That translates into
It's
real money.
a lot.
So what's happening next at Daniel House Club? When am I gonna I'm seeing you guys at High Point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
Woo!
big party.
we're gonna hang out like all day long, aren't we?
More than one day. We should have a
So
sleepover.
yes, the whole weekend.
A High Point lock-in.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
All
I
right.
guess the first thing is that BOD is turning 20. So
20.
how is that
Don't look a day
possible?
over 10.
I know, right? That's the sign we're gonna have up. I want a DJ for our party. I think a DJ is like, I just have decided I really want a DJ. I
Okay.
think we're gonna make that happen.
I think
Cheryl, are
that
you
sounds
listening? We
great.
need a DJ. Poor Cheryl. She's like, okay, great. Add it to the list.
Sure.
I think
Oh
that that's
man.
going to bring a lot of energy. So the first day that we're together at High Point is the Saturday, the 25th,
26th.
26th, Saturday the 26th. And do you want to talk about the lineup? Are we allowed to?
Yeah, we should.
What are we
So I
doing?
think you will speak better to the actual topics. I should have looked them up before, but basically we have a 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and 12 p.m. Sessions with Kimberly in three different Daniel House Club vendor partner showrooms. So we're starting the morning at Four Hands. We're
Oh, so
talking about
good.
some brilliant topic. And then we're going.
By the way, can I just say Four Hands? I never used Four Hands until Daniel House Club, and I'm so happy. I'd
You
seen them
know,
at High Point, but I thought, nah, I don't really need them. But you know what?
Yeah.
I do need them. They're great.
I never used them before Daniel House Club either. And now I just did my own dining room banquette with 4 pieces from them. And I'm so happy.
Is the
Like
seat height right?
the seat height is correct. Yeah,
I'm
you
hurt.
should have
I'm
gone
hurt.
that
I
route.
should have just done it for what was I thinking?
Um,
Oh,
yeah, they're a fantastic vendor, and a really, really good partner.
Yeah.
Speaking of
yeah,
partners,
yeah.
um,
Okay, so that's 10 a.m. We're at Four Hands.
yeah, and they're gonna generously, provide us mimosas so we can build our energy for the rest of the day.
Day
And then we're gonna,
drinking starting early. I like it. I'm in training for that right now.
yeah, so are we. No, I'm
Not
teasing.
coffee, FYI.
Just Bailey's.
And then we're going downstairs to Sunpan at 11.
Mhm.
We like Sunpan particularly for our Canadian members because
Yes.
they are easy to work with in Canada
Mhm.
and
It's a
now
Canadian company, right? And
yes,
that's a really good example of a vendor who's less expensive than Pottery Barn and Crate and Barrel. Like a great
Yeah.
product, good pricing. Like we use them when we have that budget conscious situation, or
yeah,
anytime there's like a high usage space, like
I
commercial
was just gonna say
spaces. Yeah,
we have a lot of commercial designers who
yeah,
rely on Sunpan,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
and
Good
restaurant
stuff.
designers.
yeah.
Restaurants, yeah.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah,
have a
case
really
good's good.
nice outdoor collection too
Yeah.
that I think that's versatile. So then at noon we're gonna go over to IHFC and talk with a new vendor for Daniel House Club called A2 Home. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Of course I am. Like
Yeah,
they stood out to me at High Point as being a fresh face maybe 4 years ago, 3, 4 years with it. So I didn't
yeah,
realize you signed them. That's well done. I
yeah.
love it. And I do feel like that vibe, like that kind of like French country vibe is coming back. It's poised to be bigger. And
Yeah,
it's beautiful stuff.
I agree. And what I like about them is that they do provide some things that are more edging toward like building components. Like they have ready-made kitchen systems. Um,
Ooh.
and so we're really focused on trying to add some of that kind of stuff that designers often specify, but maybe aren't making the margin on.
Right.
So that's why I'm really
Cool.
excited about them, and they're excited to be a partner with us too.
So 10, 11, and 12, I'm going to wear like normal shoes and then put on my runners. And we're going to run to the next showroom. Is that how this is going to work?
Yeah,
And
and
everybody
how
can come with us. They can follow us. You can like, we can have a party train.
and what we want you to consider is that you should wear something that shows your ankles because this year's Daniel House Club merch are branded tube socks because people have been telling us that we're really showing our age if we're wearing ankle socks. That's so like millennial or older.
Oh, how cute.
Me
How
too.
embarrassing.
I know.
I'm not a fan of my legs or my ankles. I'm probably gonna hide those. I'll wear my tube socks on the outside of my pants. How's that?
That sounds
I like
great.
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can match that
I
way.
will say the packaging of these socks does. I love puns, and it says, "In case our service knocks your socks off."
Oh,
So
shut up. That's so
yeah,
cute. I love that.
thanks.
We should
Oh,
shout out to Johanna, our
Oh
new
yeah,
marketing manager, who
she put that
created
together.
that. A very cute
Mhm.
idea.
we're giving away tons of merch at our birthday party. If she's gonna just slap her head and wonder why she's stuck working with me when I say the following. I can't remember what time our birthday party is at. Is it at 2 or 3 or 4?
I
This
think
is
it's 3 or 4.
ridiculous.
It's not at 2. I'm pretty sure
Okay,
it's not
3 or
at 2.
4. It's going to be a party, big, alcohol kind of thing, lots of merch. And at all of these events, I should say, like, we're having fun and we're joking and all that kind of stuff. we're so serious about interior design and making a living and being excellent at what you do and being an expert at what you do. So at all three of these events, or the three events you guys are doing, and then at the birthday party, there's going to be learning. There are going to be things that you're going to take away and implement when you get home. And the mission of Business of Design is to change the industry one designer at a time. So if you're in the audience, I want you to get something out of it. So we're going to have fun, but I promise there's going to be really intensive learning for you to take away. And in fact, at the party, we're going to be doing the 20 best insights over 20 years, which has really changed. You know, I remember 20 years ago, my first appearance at High Point, and nobody knew who I was. And I got heckled because I said you should charge for the consultation, and people booed and
Oh my
left and walked
gosh.
out and thought that was crass and rude. And she's so rude talking about money and what she charges. And I was in tears. That was bad. I was like, oh, that did not go well. So I
Well,
think
you
we've changed the industry.
You
I think so,
totally
yeah.
have changed the
Yeah.
industry if that was the case. Can we talk for 1 second about what we're doing the next day too? Is
Absolutely not. Yes, of course.
that okay? So you were going to moderate
That's right.
a
Oh my
panel
gosh.
at Theodore Alexander
Yep.
with us and with Xena credit card, the credit card for interior designers, and one designer who uses both Daniel House Club and Xena. And I have to say, I haven't used Xena yet, but it does sound amazing to me because
Very cool product.
you can just like charge your card, and your product that you bought for X client just gets accounted to that project.
I am
And
so into this. Yeah, I haven't used it yet either. We have our onboarding meeting with them. We've had a bunch of meetings with them to learn about what they do, because we're super protective about who we allow on the podcast to advertise, which is why we don't have that many sponsors of the podcast.
yeah.
Anyway, so we've had a bunch of meetings with them, and I'm convinced this is going to be a really cool service for interior designers. So yeah, I don't think we haven't talked about them at all on the podcast yet. So
Oh, okay. Sorry to
no, that's perfect. So that's going to happen on the Sunday. So
Yeah.
bottom line, we want your Saturday and we want the morning of your Sunday, and then you can do
Yeah.
whatever the rest of the event. You can have fun.
Whatever
But
you
Yeah,
want.
if you can still
this is
walk
where the
after all
action
these
is.
things.
You can still walk. Of course you can. You're going to have your tube tops.
Yeah,
Why do I keep
Tube
saying tube
socks.
tops?
No, we don't
Wait
have
a minute.
branded
Are you
tube
guys giving
tops.
away tube tops?
That would be
Maybe next year.
Maybe
Eventually you're gonna
Business
walk.
of Design tube tops. Business
I like
of
that.
Design. I love
When
it.
it's
Yeah.
the 90s again.
That's an outfit you will not see me in. Business of Design tube top and Daniel House Club tube socks. That is just never going to happen. But just picture that for a minute, and we'll send people home with that thought in their mind.
Never
You
say
guys-
never.
There's hope for the industry. There's a chance that if you're listening and you have been frightened of procurement, maybe we've convinced you that this is a safe space for you to try it out. And if you can do Instacart, you can do Daniel House Club, and your clients will benefit. You will benefit, and the industry benefits, because the more of us who are out there profitable and running respectable professional businesses, the more clients will come to expect that. So we need each other, and we need you guys. And thank you so much, you guys. We just have really enjoyed getting to know you and using Daniel House Club, and just all the success going forward. I'm so looking forward to October.
Yeah,
So
can't
are we.
wait.
Party at the High Point. Yay.
I know, right?